Hey guys, in this video I'm going to take this brand new Traxxas Maxx 1/10 scale truck and turn it into my mock-up I made in Photoshop here. Sort of a jet theme called Afterburner. I've already gone ahead and put a chassis wrap that matches on this truck. As you can see, it's an interior and exterior wrap. It's got the front bumpers wrapped. That's in a different video. If you click subscribe and you go to the channel, you can watch that video if you're here to install a chassis wrap. But otherwise, let's get started on this body wrap. Okay, so here's a little disclaimer about this truck. I had this truck before Traxxas actually released them. I found it on eBay. Somebody was selling it. I'm assuming a hobby shop that got an early release model. So as of, let's see, it is November 15th. Traxxas still has not released their clear Lexan bodies yet, which is really what you need to put on a body wrap kit like this, okay? So I am cheating a little bit here. I took their Pro Graphics body, I think it's called, which is the orange and blue one that came with the truck, and I actually painted it with the Tamiya color. I don't recommend doing this at all if you're going to do installation, but what I need to do here is get this on video so that as these products are going out the door, people have an instructional video. So that's my disclaimer. You won't notice anything different on camera as I'm installing this, but don't do that on your own, in my opinion. Now, it's your stuff. If you buy this and you want to go through with that, by all means, that's your prerogative. But for this, I just wanted to let you know. And the reason for that is, with a clear Lexan body, you can take products like the 3M primer pen and you can go over these rolled edges, as I'm going to go over here, without disturbing the paint job, because the paint's on the back side of the body. So you're going to get the best bond if you take that new Traxxas clear Lexan body, spray it black on the back side, and you've got a nice clean Lexan shell to work with. So without any further ado, let's get started. Like most of my videos, I'll very quickly go over the tools I'm using. Soapy water, this will be all in the instruction set that comes in your kit. Heat gun, gotta have it. Don't try to do this without a heat gun. Some clean rags. I got an X-Acto knife. The primer 94 pen will come in handy in this project. I do have a squeegee. This truck has been fitted with the Aftermarket light kit, as you can see right here, which will make it even more cool once this is installed. So let's get started with this and we'll see how this turns out. This is the first Traxxas Maxx 1/10 truck to ever be wrapped in the world as far as I'm aware. So it's a pretty exciting video. Okay guys, so the first thing you want to do is get your new Lexan clear body, spray it black on the back side. Here we have one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything apart on this, okay? It's kind of a pain. This awesome latching system that Traxxas has developed is cool, but boy, there's a lot of screws to take out. So I'm going to speed up the camera and get back with you after I get that done, and we'll get going on this project. Okay, so we have all the plastics off and now we've just got this naked shell. It's time to get going. So the first thing we need to do is take the body and prep it with some isopropyl alcohol and get it nice and clean and sterile, and then we'll get going on with the kit. Okay, so I'm gonna take my clean rag. I'm gonna put some alcohol on it here. Should be good. And I'm just gonna go over it. Get any oils that are stuck on the body off. Work my way right around. That's good. Okay, so now that we've got this prepped, one of the things about the Traxxas Maxx 1/10 scale is it's got this hard rolled edge right along the fender line here. When I engineered this kit, I like to keep about a 1/16 inch gap from all edges with graphics. Now that can change if the graphic stretches when you're installing, and you may have to trim it, but in general, you want to leave a nice backspace gap. Now, this rolled edge is about maybe a light 1/4 inch in, so that would have been a really tough, kind of an ugly backspacing to have the graphics sit that far back. Because it's such a strong rolled edge, what I want to do is use my Primer 94 pen here and just go over this edge. I'm going to use my finger as a guide and just right along the edge, just like that. And then I'm going to come back over here and do the same thing to the front and the same thing to the other sides, okay? There you go. All done. Just let that dry. Okay, so this is a first run test kit that I have here. Your kit will have a diagram printed on it, and what it'll do is it'll show you which pieces you need to install first. So just follow that diagram and you'll be good to go. It'll also show you where that 3M primer pen needs to be used on the fender wells. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install the sides. Like most of my installations, you do the sides first, and then you can balance the centerpieces out once the sides are installed, and you can run right up the center, okay? In this, I have some soapy water. It's clean water. It looks like it's about 32 ounces. Yep. And I put, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 drops of dish detergent in. The dish detergent gives it a little viscosity so you can do a wet apply and get the air bubbles out. Like I said, we need to use this heat gun. I got my X-Acto knife, my clean rag, so I have no friction if I want to do like a finger push there. And for the bigger spots like the roof, I've got a felt tip squeegee. If you don't have a felt tip squeegee, just wrap it with a clean cloth like this. So the first thing we need to do is spray down the side of our truck with the soapy water like this, okay? And grab my knife, and I'm gonna just pull the graphic up with my knife. My hands are still soapy and wet, which is okay, so my oils from my skin don't stick to the graphic. So here's the graphic, okay? And before I do anything, I'm just gonna spray the back with the soapy water, just like that. Okay? Now let's try and get this lined up here. Like most of my videos I do, it is rather hard for me to lean over top and do a good installation. So if at times I have to pull it away from the camera from you guys, I apologize. But you can kind of see how this lines up here, okay? You got a nice clean gap all the way around. This, as you can see, wants to go up, but as you install it, it starts to come down and curl around. So what I want you to do is get your gaps nice and even. I've got a nice clean gap there, and you can see we got a recess right here, okay? So what I want to do is heat this up in the middle in that recess. Give my heat gun a chance to heat up here. Okay, this is gonna be the hardest part. We need to get the water out of that recess. I'm gonna turn it straight up and just run my finger straight down, and the water came straight out through there, and now you can see that recess is intact. Now I'm gonna go the other way, just like this, and we've got that divot now down. I'm gonna add some more heat. Like that. And I'm just going to use my finger to sort of get this where I want it to be. I'm going to push it, lift it up. Got a little wrinkle, so I'm going to push it and do that. And just, this is, on the 1/10 kits, you can really just get away with using a wet hand to sort of squeegee it out. It's that simple. Okay? I'm going to lift this up and get it wet again because I don't want it to start to stick. I'm just going to let that go for now and just see where we are here, okay? So I'm going to turn this upside down and force the water out this way. But first what I want to do is heat it up. Okay? I'm going to take my squeegee because I have a nice big flat edge here and I'm just gonna push it like that. Okay. So now I want to take a look and see how this is going to line up here, and it looks like I'm going to be just about right, maybe a little heavy on this window because I stretched it quite a bit. And if that's the case, that's no problem, we'll just trim it, okay? So let's get the heat going. Looks like I got a little wrinkle here. I just want to keep this wet so it doesn't stick on me. Same with this side, okay? Soapy water is our friend. Find my squeegee here, and I'm just going to roll this up and into place. You can see it darn near stuck right away, okay? I'm going to spray the top so my thumb can slide around. Looking pretty good. Got a little spot here I need to work on. So I'm just going to release this, like that. Use a little heat to get that wrinkle out. There we go. And then I can just force the water out. As long as that water has a good channel to get out where it's not been adhered down, you can get all air bubbles out. Okay. So just going to use my thumb. I'm going to go around. I'm going to wet this again so I have no friction. Okay. Now with this part, what we need to do is heat it up and force it and tell it where we want it to go. I'm going to finish this off here because I had a little wrinkle right there, and up and around it goes. You can see I'm just using my thumb to sort of force it, and now it's cooling on me, so I need to heat it up again. And what we need to do is sort of pull it a little bit while it's warm and stretch it down. We need a little bit more heat. Just like that. Hopefully I'm doing an okay job for you guys here and you can see this. Okay, that looks pretty good. Looks like I need to maybe lift it off here and just get it a little bit more to the side. Yep. And I'm going to do a final heat here. Here we go. This rolled edge on this fender is really a tough spot. And it's not going to be even, so you can come back and sort of trim it so that it has a nice even lay. Just going to go back over this here. I'm going to turn this upside down so the water can come out as I push. Okay, there we go. It looks good. Now we're going to work our way back. Let's pull this up, make sure it's still soapy and wet there. And we're going to push it down and just sort of get an idea. Notice I have the truck upside down so the water can roll out and not get trapped, okay? So I'm going to spray the top. I got a little wrinkle here, so I'm going to just lift it up. A little bit more heat. Roll it around. Sort of just get an idea of where this is going to want to go. I'm going to backheat it because this rolled edge I talked about with the primer, it wants to lift off. So I'm going to backheat it in to get that moisture evaporated and then just do a final press down if I can. If you still have problems with that, turn it this way so that the air, any water can come out as you do your final press down. But just keep using heat and keep working it until it finally does its final sit down, okay? Sometimes it'll even lift back up at the end of the project, and that's okay, because at that point it has evaporated everything out and you can come down and the final press down then is the magic trick. But you can see that lays down really nice there. Gonna do one more round of heat. And the trick is, like I said, that moisture, you push it down, and then when you take your finger off, it gets sucked back in. So you just got to keep working it until you're satisfied. So I'm gonna heat this up here, turn it upside down so the water can come out, and you can see the water coming out right there. See it running down the side? And that's all you got to do. Just like that. Don't worry too much at this point about any bubbles or any misalignments. You can see I'm a little misaligned here, how this comes up and rolls over. It's not because it was cut wrong, but rather because I just used a little bit too much heat and it stretched up over. There's not much you can do about that. You got to do your thing when you're putting these on. And the reason we do the sides first is because then we can come back with a knife, and any deviation from the stretching, we can just trim right off, okay? This looks awesome. I mean, look how we changed the side of this truck already. That is fantastic. Let's move on to the other side. Hey guys, okay, let's go. We are on to the next side. I just went off camera and got a few little air pockets out. I don't want to bore you guys with that. When it comes to air pockets, just give them a little pop with your knife, and then heat it up just a little bit, and then just force the water out, and you'll see it come out, okay? The other side is a mirror image of this process, so I'm gonna speed up the camera and then slow it back down when we get to the middle part of the body. Okay guys, I've now got both sides on, and you can see we've got a nice area here to center our center line of graphics. That's the importance of doing the sides first. Let me give it a spin around here so you can see it sparkle and shine. Again, this has the optional add-on metallic flake finish, which, I mean, on the Afterburner kit, if you have the extra in your budget to be able to put that on, it just makes it look like metal, in my opinion. I mean, it really looks cool. So let's move on to the hood, and we'll just work our way right back the truck. Okay, so we've done the sides here. Let's do the hood next. I've already prepped the hood with the alcohol in the beginning, so I'm just gonna spray everything down. Here's a little tip. If you're doing something like the hood, don't just spray the hood, spray the rest of it, because if you accidentally drop the hood somewhere else and it wants to stick, they used to have like kind of an insurance policy so it doesn't stick on you. So let's get the center hood piece off here. Here we go. I just plucked it off. I'm going to spray the back. Move this out here so I don't disturb your view. And I'm going to put it on there and slide it around. I'm going to sort of get a feel for how it's going to lay. So I lined this up with the front divot there. I'm gonna hold it back here, and I can have a better view of it if it's centered or not. That looks pretty good. So I'm gonna get my heat gun. Just heat it up so it softens for you. And let's go do a center line like this. And I can see the water just came squirting out the back. And now I'm going to go side to side like that, okay? I'm going to take my towel and sort of just push down the rest of it. And what the towel's doing is two things. It reduces the friction, and it also absorbs the water and so it doesn't get sucked back in. Let's heat it up again. Now I'm just going to take my finger and just roll the edge just like this. It's giving it just a little bit of a stretch. I'm just going to roll my edge. I'm going to make sure I am centered here. Add a little bit more heat. I'm just going to roll that edge down just like that. I'm just going to work my way right around. You can see the relief cut in the middle, how it's come together. That's there for a reason. And that is a perfect install right there. That looks really good. Okay, awesome. Let's move on to the sides now. I need to spray everything down again with my soapy water. And I am going to pull off the next piece we need. And only the next piece we need, and that's this piece. Okay, it's going to go right around here. I'm going to spray it down. And I'm going to lay it on. And I'm going to get a feel for my relief points here and where I need to be. I'm going to tuck this in just a little bit more there. That looks pretty good. That looks good. This may be a little bit too far over. We can heat that up and take care of that. Let me just move this in just a little bit more here. There we go. I'm going to add some heat. You can see it settle from the heat. See that? That also gives you an indication as to how thick the product is. Now on the 1/10 scales, I've started to dial the thickness back a little bit. So you get a little bit more of a flush finish rather than that high profile raised finish like on the bigger brother, the 1/8 scale Max. So on the 1/10 scale, I decided to do like a 7 mil finish instead of a 13. And I think it serves it better overall. So I'm going to add a little bit more heat. Okay, and we're going to bring it down. Just like this. Let's get the front. What's nice about the front here is the water should just roll right out on me without any problems. And it looks like it's doing just that. Okay. I'm just going to take my towel and sop up some of this extra moisture without getting the towel underneath the graphic. Okay. I'm going to wrap my finger in the towel to reduce friction. Roll it down. Got to keep working it. That looks pretty good. So I just need to keep going over it here with the heat, because these hard rolled edges, they still have some moisture in them and they need to be trained to stay down, and we need to get the moisture out. And the heat helps with that. So it's a matter of patience and doing it over and over again until it finally stays down. I can feel some moisture in there, so I'm just going to take this towel again and just try and get it out of there so it doesn't get sucked back in. And now that time it stayed down for me because I got rid of that moisture. So I'm just going to do one more heat. That's looking good. Okay, let's turn it around. I'm going to go over this side. See this rolled edge here? So we're just going to push it down. Awesome. Take my towel, get that moisture out, and then work it again. It's looking really good. I got a little bit of a bubble here, so I'm just going to work that up and out while it's still damp. There we go. That looks good. A little bit of moisture in there I got to work on, but that looks awesome. So take a look and see how we're doing here. Do I have this? Yep. Okay. So here's the truck, and you can see where we're going. Okay. Let's move on to the other sides of the hood. Okay, we're moving on to the other sides of the hood here. So I'm just going to spray this down again. I'm going to get the pieces I need. Okay. Spray these pieces down. And we're going to bring these up here and just line them up right to the tip of the other front piece. And I can tell you this piece is going to require some heat and some stretching because it's going over a really strong compound curve. So what I want to do is just get the front fixed down so I have something to work with. So now I can hinge it, okay? And I'm going to just sort of pull it back and around like this. Still has a little bit of heat left in it, so I'm able to conform it. I'm going to add some more. And then just keep stretching and pulling it back. And what you're going to see is this little curled piece here fits right in that nook. And if you're short, just give it a little bit more of a tug and a little bit of heat. I'm a 1/16 short, so I'm going to add some heat. And then you can pull it and stretch it into place. And it'll fit squarely in there. Look at that. See that? Now, once you get it down, I'm going to take my cloth here and just get some of this moisture out of the groove. I'm going to heat it up. And I'm going to come back and just sort of use my thumb and roll and stretch it a little bit to get it to fit in there nicely. Okay, let's do the other side. Again, we're going to start at the front. Let's get the front fixed down. Okay, there we go. So you can see the front's down now. So now I can pull and stretch it where I want it to go. I'm going to add a little bit more heat so it's more malleable. And just bring it around. Keep my gaps as even as I can. Just like this. And again, this piece is just going to fit right back here into this nook. Just like that. I have a little bit of an overlap here on this one, probably because this piece I stretched a little bit too far. So I'm going to come back and just trim that off once this has set in. Okay, looks good. Here's my rag. I'm just going to soak up a little bit of this moisture here. This is a good tool to use to sort of get down in there if your thumb can't get in. There we go. Looking good. Okay. Let's do the window next, and then we'll do the roof. So we'll spray for the window. Pull it off of our sheet. and we'll just lay it down there like this. Gonna add a little bit of heat to soften it up. And I'm gonna hinge the middle like that, so the middle's down, and then I'm just gonna go side to side. You can see the water squirting out, and that's it. The window is done. I wish every piece was that easy, huh? Tell you what, why don't we come around and we'll do the other two windows while we're here. Just like this. That's good. And the other side. Use my squeegee, just push that water up and down, and the windows are done. Okay, so let's do the hood now, or should I say the roof, I'm sorry. A lot of this piece is actually hidden by the skid guard up there, but it does go all the way underneath, so as you can see, the holes line up nice and neat. I'm going to take my heat because I got a little bit of a flared, rounded turn in the front and in the back. And I'm going to start in the middle and get that affixed, and then go like this. Okay. For this piece, I'm going to use my rag. It reduces friction and also sops up the extra moisture. Cool. And that piece is done. Okay, so here's where we are. We're coming right along. Looks really good, I think. Let's move on to the side pieces here. Now, the reason we leave these for last is because these pieces will allow us to do some adjusting and some trimming if need be. Okay, so we're going to line this up and float it around. Now, when it comes to this piece, don't worry about this ridge right here that's black. You won't see that because your cap's going to sit on top of that. So what you really want to concern yourself with is the even relief around the windows, around right here, things like that. So you got plenty of time to work with it as long as you keep it wet, and if it doesn't stay wet, just spray it, take it off and spray it again. So I'm happy with the way this looks. So I'm going to warm it up. Okay, and I'm just going to use my thumb to sort of rock this down because it's a delicate, thin piece. And what I don't want to do is come in here real fast with this cloth and get too much pressure on it and it gets wavy. So I want to be really careful. I'm just going to work my way back. I'm going to use a little bit of force. See, I'm pushing this down to tighten up that gap while it's still warm. Perfect. Okay, let's move on to the front here. I need some heat. Rock that into place. Just going right down the spline of that pillar, and then I'm going to rock it into place, keeping it warm. If it starts to cool, you got to heat it back up so it stays warm, so it's easy to work with. Just like that. I got some water that's kind of stuck here and wants to get sucked back in. So I'm going to take my rag and just go around, dry everything out. And there we go, okay? Looks like I got a little bit of a water bubble here. Let's see if I can get that out on camera. Use my squeegee to try to get in there. There we go. Came out for me there. There we go. Still a little guy right there. I think I'm gonna pop him just like that. There it comes. It's coming out now. Cool. Cool, cool. Check the other side while I'm at it. The other side's good. It was just this one side here that had an issue. It's still coming out just a little bit there. And heat it up. And it's gone. Just work it right to there. Good deal. Okay. Here we are. This thing looks awesome. I mean, I really think that's sharp, but you know, that's just my opinion, I guess. Let's go back to the inner bed here. We're gonna leave the bed rails for last because that's something that's probably gonna have to be trimmed, much like these pieces here, and that is by design. I'll finish this other side up during the high speed portion of the video. You probably don't want to watch me do that twice. Okay, so this piece fits just perfectly down in here. Very little you got to do as far as planning. Okay, what you want to do with this is, because it's sort of cavernous, you want to put it up on its edge and get all the water out here before you start doing your final install. There's just an overabundance of water stuck in there. Can't get out. Okay, give it a little heat. And we'll push the rest of this water out. There you have it, okay? Let's do these Fender Flare things here. We'll pull it off of our sheet. Okay. We'll spray the back. I'm gonna line this hole up here. Just fold these tabs down and sort of see where I'm at. That looks good. I'm going to give it some heat. Got a little bit too much water here, so I need to sop some of it up. There we go. Just going to keep using the heat to work it around. Okay, I need to sop up some more of this water. Just like that. And there we have our Fender Flare, or raised panel for the wheels, I guess. So let's move on to the tailgate next, I think. Okay, so the tailgate piece will spray down. Goes my camera batteries that I had sitting on the edge of my table. No matter how big I make this table, it seems like I never have enough space. Let's see here. This goes like, I don't know. This. Yep. Okay, so we're just going to try and get it centered here. Now because I stretched this a little bit too much, I'm going to need to trim this. And again, that's by design. That's why we do the sides first, so that we only have to trim the center pieces. If we did this piece first and we had it way over here, you know, you'd have a huge gap here you couldn't fix and a huge overlap here. And you can see what's going on here. You can see where the black areas are left exposed. That's where your tail lights are going to go. Okay? I'm going to use my thumb and just rock this up like so. A little bit of heat. Just like that, okay? Check for any air pockets, don't see any. We will come back and trim that later, okay? Let's do this piece next. And I think we will wet apply that piece, even though it's fairly small. I considered not doing that, but I think it would still be best if we did. Okay, this piece is a little different because it's all one piece here. Looks like I need to come this way just a touch. There we go. And that piece actually fits in there with no issue. So I'm going to heat it up. I'm going to roll this back just like this. I need a little bit more heat. And this piece actually fits in there. Just like that. Okay? Looking good. There we go. Alright, so I think what we'll do next is this window piece and this piece. Oops. And we'll just line this up. And then I'm just going to push the water out. Just like this. Can't really get the squeegee in there, so I'm just going to use my finger. Easy. Let's do this bottom piece. Okay, it's as easy as that. And we'll just squeegee that water out, and over time it'll make the contact it needs. Now we're going to do this back pillar here. We're going to need some heat for this one. And we'll just rock it back into place. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Spray it down. Heat it up. And just going to rock it down into place. Just like that. Easy peasy. Okay. There we go. It's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's do this other side, and I'll just actually leave the film in regular speed here, because it shouldn't take too long. That'll help me balance things out so you guys can see how this project is looking. Looks pretty good. I'm going to get this fixed, and then I'm going to do some stretching, okay? So use my thumb, and just get that rocked into place. Oops. Okay, I'm going to lift this off. I'm going to warm it up and just follow a nice straight edge, just like this. And I'm going to get it on that rocked edge. Looks like it's down on the top edge there, and then I can rock it down and up. Just like this. Okay, and then we go forward. Got a little extra water down here I need to get rid of. A little heat. I'll lift this off and get myself a little bit more closer to the window here. Now, because I stretched this a little bit, I am going to need to trim it. It's another piece that's going to need trim down here at the bottom. Okay, it's looking pretty good. This up a little bit on this side. Okay, looking good. All right, so we have most of the back done here. Why don't we go ahead and put these bed rails on next? And I think we're going to need to trim this excess off right here and here. And we'll figure that out once we get it soaped up and we can see where we're at. Yes, we will. Not much. Okay, so while that's wet right there and not actually stuck, I'm just going to come through here and trim back this side piece a little bit. Okay, and then I'm just going to use my knife, and there's the piece. You can see my hole's just a little shy here, so what I'm going to do is fix the front down. And then I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to heat it from the front so I can stretch it just a little bit. And there it is, I got it. Okay, so let's heat this back up. Have it. While I'm here, let's do this other flare. Just lay it on there. Do a little test fitting here. Looks pretty good. Do a couple little final heats here. Just get the balance of the water out. Good. Good deal. Okay. Here's where we are. Let's get this bed rail done. And again, pretty confident I'm going to need to just trim that piece right there, just like I did the other side. Just dry my hands off. And we'll come through here and keep our gaps even. Here we go. Okay. Looking good. So now you'll notice something here. We've got this black bar here, and that's okay because the bed rail cap's going to cover that and this. So we just got to do our tail lights, and there's a couple pieces on the inside of the bed here with your full coverage kit we need to install. I'm going to install them dry because they're small enough. Hopefully, well, I'll try. You know what? I'm going to wet apply them because I got to kind of look over my shoulder here. Over the body, I should say, and get them in, and it's not easy when you're on camera. So there you go. Let's do the back part. Okay, there's that. Doing this a wet apply on those small pieces was definitely the right move, I think. We got that piece in. We got a little, way too much water in here. Soak some of that up. And then we'll get this piece in. I have a little bit too much of an overhang on this interior bed piece here, so I need to either push it down. There we go. Now I can get this piece in. Sometimes it's easier to put it on the knife like this if your hands aren't good at getting into those small spaces. There we go. Okay, and then we have one more piece to put right here. We go. All right, let's move on to the taillights, and I think that's gonna finish up the back with the exception of just some final trimming. But here we are. I mean, this is looking, I think, pretty good. So again, I still got to go over it. There's some rolled edges that need heated again and pushed back down. But over time, what happens is as you're rounding out the project and you're not continually spraying it, the moisture starts to evaporate out from even underneath these little ledges, and it becomes easier and easier as you finish the project to get them to stay down. Okay guys, I went ahead and I put this roof cap back on here because it just completes it. I mean, it covers up those holes and those ugly ridges that are right there. Really, it's just looking awesome. So what I want to do now is I want to pull off these freebies, which are the tail lights, and I'm going to do a dry apply. And I'm going to do my best to get them centered here. Just like this. If you have a little overlap, you know, go ahead and trim, but that actually fit in there really well without any problems. So I'm going to come back and do the same thing on the other side. Get them in that open space there. And then just roll it. Now, you may say to yourself, boy, that looks kind of bad right there. I have this solution. And the solution is your tailgate cap, right? So watch how this goes from to wow. That's the solution right there. And it brings it all together, okay? And then you'll do the same thing when we get the bars in and this center latch system. It'll just bring everything together, okay? So we do have a couple things we need to finish on the front here. And for that, I am going to wet a fly. And I'm gonna grab the pieces that I need. Let's see here. We'll start with the hardest piece. Why not, right? This piece is cut in the middle because it's gonna come together when you do your install here. Hopefully you guys are seeing this and I'm not blocking your view. Okay, so I'm just gonna get the center aligned and warmed up. And I'm just gonna rock it into place. Just like that. Heat is your friend. Add some more heat. Bring this down. What I need to do is grab my knife here and just lift this piece up because it needs to come my way just a little bit. Just like that. It's easy to get a wrinkle in these thinner pieces, so take your time with heat. And it's a lot easier to get a wrinkle when it's warm, when you warm it up. So keep that in mind when you're, pressing and pushing. And if you do get a wrinkle, try to let it cool for a minute. And once it's cool and it's hardened, lift it up, heat it, and the wrinkle will come right out. And then set it back down and restart, okay? There we go. Okay, let's do this front valence here. Add Somehow, some way, I got a little piece of fuzz on this. It must have been on the body. Okay. Add some heat. And I'm just going to use my thumb and rock it back and into place. Just like this. Okay, and then we've got this one strip right here. Add a little bit more water to this because I feel like I'm probably going to have to slide this guy around quite a bit. Yeah, without a doubt. This guy here needs some heat and some finagling. Not too much heat. But the trick here is to keep your gaps as even as possible. Okay. I'll probably come back and just trim this little piece right there because I'm just a perfectionist with this stuff, or at least try to be. But overall, this looks really good. I'm probably going to trim that off too once it's bonded. Okay. Do the front grille and the headlights. Oops. Got that overlap just a little bit there, so I want to try that again. Get this down first, and then we'll take the extra out in the middle with some heat. So I butted it up against each side. You can see how I've got a ridge here in the middle. So I'm just going to heat that up, and I should be able to get that ridge to disappear without having to trim it, I think. Yep, there it goes. It's amazing what you can do with vinyl with a little bit of heat. What I like to do with these smaller pieces is let it dry a day and then come back and do some final trimming if I need to even everything up. Okay, so there's the headlight, and we'll do the other headlight here. Here we go. Looking pretty good, huh? Got a couple things we need to finish up here. Okay, so I've gone back over this off camera and just tried to see if there's any spots that need fixed. Not really. There's a couple rolled edges here that I need to come back over. I'm going to do some final trim work, things like that. For example, like this rolled edge here, you can see I can sort of just lift that lip up there. You're going to find things like that because the water hates rolling off that edge. It kind of gets sucked back in. So just take your heat gun and go back down over it again. And generally, that does the trick. The other thing I like to do is put these outside in the sun, especially if it's spring, summer, or the sun is just hot that time of the year. Let it bake in the sun for the day, okay? And then bring it inside. Let me rephrase that. Let it bake in the sun outside for the day if you don't live next to a dirty, dusty road where dust and dirt's flying. Or if you have like a sunroom or the window in your house, set it next to the window, go to work for the day, and come back. And then before you contaminate it outside, just go back over it with the heat gun. At that point, all that moisture that's having trouble getting out has evaporated out from the edges, okay? So this looks to be pretty well done besides the trimming. I'm gonna speed up the camera and put this all back together and then show you guys what it looks like on the truck. Guys, I have finished Project Afterburner on this new Traxxas Maxx 1/10. Let's take a look, okay? What do we think? It looks pretty close to my Photoshop mock-up, doesn't it? Boy, the real life thing is always better, I'll tell you. So let's just take a little tour of what I've accomplished here. Here is the back. You can see there's even stickers down in here. The bumper is wrapped. It goes all the way up through here. I'll turn it around so you can see the side. Here's the hood. The front bumper's got a wrap on it. Let's take a look at what's going on underneath, okay? This is the optional add-on chassis skin. Let me just turn this off so the sound doesn't get too annoying. But you can see there's a matching skin on the inside, okay? And also on the arms and the exterior of the chassis. Looks pretty cool. There's even stickers down in here if you can see that. Overall, the project was pretty easy. If you just take your time and follow the instructions in this video, you should have no problems at all. You see about getting this body back on here, and we'll get one final look of the truck. It looks awesome. This has the metallic flake upgrade package on it. I highly recommend that if it's in your budget. It makes these look like real metal panels, so to speak. So subscribe, hit the like button, whatever you like to do. I'll put a link below to the store so you can find the kit that you like if you're in the market for something for your new Traxxas Maxx 110. Until then, I'll see you next time.